Yes, sir. We'll start.
I'm really happy to be here, and this is my really a privilege to be presenting mind management. For quite some time, I have been doing a lot of programs on to do with the mind mentoring, then design thinking, then mind mapping. So I'm really interested in kind of mind development. So in that line, so I developed this program 1 year back, and I've been doing this to lots of organizations and all that. So here we go. And before I start this mind management, I would like to tell you a small story, an ancient story. I'm taking you to all the 2nd century in ancient Greek, to a palace. The king and the queen were watching and enjoying their son, the prince, playing around happily with other children. And suddenly their son collapsed and making twisting and squirming movements with the noise, with the pain, as if a storm breathing inside his head, and white froth coming out of his mouth. So the king and the queen were perplexed, and they summoned the physician and the spiritual leader to attend their son. And they announced it was the evil spirit, and we were admonished. So they said, no, we have to perform a ritual. And they performed the ritual by cutting, slitting a goat's throat and offered the blood to the spirit. So the idea was a spiritual appeasement to the evil spirit. But at the same time of period, one man stood against all these ritual practices. That man was Hippocrates. He called that incident, what happened to that boy was to do with the brain, not with the spirit. So in modern day, we call that incident an epileptic seizure. So it was a Hippocrates who declared the brain as the seed of a consciousness. So from that day onwards till today, we developed that human conscious idea, a concept, and named it in a different forms, and today it's everywhere. And from there it evolved to the modern days programs of mind management, which I am going to give you the details of that. And now the question is, you all know, must be knowing about mind management and all this. So what is mind management? According to me, it's a perfect way to resolve many problems in our life. So you can try. Unless you try that, you will be only thinking about it and talking about it. I promise you, it really works. So the moment you start to manage your mind, nothing will ever be the same again. And also I would like to point out one more important thing is, it might blow your mind also, that the most of us do not lead our own life at all. Instead, our habits and the patterns we have developed, cultivated over the period of time, that leads our life. So in our ancient Veda, it rightly pointed out, life is an illusion. So with that, now I come to that, the question of how can we practice the mind management? So first thing is, we don't control our mind. We can't control our mind. Forcibly, it cannot be controlled at all. The simple logic reason is that, we cannot control anything. You don't know even how it exists in our mind, how it comes in our mind, how it goes. Because all along in our life, we have been taught to think in a very particular way or develop a pattern way of thinking from our childhood. So it is very, very difficult for our mind to come out of it. But it's possible. With some mind exercises, we can gradually manage our mind. So it's time that, we can think of it and we can think differently, or at least try to think differently, not the usual way of a patterned way of thinking. And also, I would like to point out here is, remember, you can't stop, getting yourself in the stress and pain, agony, and all that until we know where it is coming from, right? So at the same time, no, you can't enjoy happiness unless we have gone through the sadness, and we can't stay with the happiness forever, because life is full of happiness, sadness, miseries, and sometimes madness too. So with that, what shall we do? So at least we can direct our thoughts with our awareness. At least we should be in the position of be aware of our own thoughts. So we'll come to that. I'll give you a lot of details and examples. So how do we do it? How can we do it? And what is the benefit? All we can go through now. And if you feel like your negative thoughts pulling you down, find a way to manage it through altering our thoughts. So these are the areas I'm going to address to you, and I'm really happy that you're all with me. And ma'am, shall we show the slides?
Sure, sir.
Yeah. Yeah. So it is visible to everybody.
Not yet, sir. It will, sir. I think it's taking some time. Okay. No problem, sir.
Yes. Okay. I hope
Yes,
all
yes,
are
sir.
comfortable with this.
Okay, okay, sir.
So I can go ahead, no, with this slide.
Sure, sir.
Okay. So I use the word, a colorful life begins with the mind management. Why did I use a colorful life? Colors, varieties of colors, various colors. So it's formed like a rainbow. So life is full of varieties, various activities, various feelings, the sensations. It's a life. So that's why I use the word colorful life. Instead of calling, it's a beautiful life, purposeful life, and all that, it's a colorful life. I thought it would be appropriate. And because also we need rain and sunshine to bring it into a rainbow color, right? So a colorful life begins with mind management. So I do this program under the banner of Art Workshop Online, which is online training programs we conduct regularly. And other programs like design thinking and mind mapping, concept mapping, and corporate storytelling, all under this umbrella of Art Workshop Online we conduct. So now come to that, why we need mind management. Why we have to do mind management? Why do we need, at least think of that, the managing our mind. So you may think, life is going on very well, but why should we do that? So, but we have to understand certain basic things. Otherwise, we'll be like just, one among them billions of people. So the basic principle of this mind management program is we should know how we are thinking, what we are thinking, the process of thinking. So we live in a world of thought. So the thinking takes place. First, thinking takes place, then the thought establishes. Then we work on that, then experience. We experience with that. But at the same time, the quality of our thoughts creates the quality of our life. So what we think, it becomes, right? So when we think, we are beautiful, yes, we are beautiful according to us. But at the same time, no, I'm not beautiful. No, I can't stand with the people. I'm like this, like that. Then, according to you, yes, it will be that way only. So the quality of our thoughts creates the quality of our life. Then the most effortless activity a person can engage is the activity of thinking. Just think about it. We can let our thinking process go on anywhere, even in the toilet or in a flight or any place, the thought, our thinking process can go on and on. So effortless. It comes and goes automatically. So that is the beauty of the thinking. That is the humankind's natural, gift. And now the life management begins with mind management. Why should I say this? Because, if you are not able to manage your life, then it is very, very difficult to manage our life. So the mind management is very, very important to have a beautiful life. So the quality of our life is influenced by the quality of our thoughts. So that is the principle. Here I have given the picture, and dear participants, I would like to say that, whatever questions you have, I can allot about 15 to 20 minutes or whatever time after I finish this. You can ask me any type of questions. So, but let me finish this. The slide to complete over. I'll give you complete the details of my mind management. Then we can have a question and answer sessions. So the first, the thoughts. See, when we have difficulties to handle some people in business problem or any kind of a conflicting thoughts in our mind, what we do, we think about it. We go through over in our mind, right? The thoughts. Then slowly, the more you think about it, the more the stronger it becomes, right? So then the emotions get involved. Then you start feeling you have to do something. We have to do something about it. The sleepless night and the strain and the stress, creep into our body, and we feel uncomfortable. Then what do? Then we feel like react towards it, and we feel like doing something on it. But if the mind is really management, the mind is really trained with the management. Then what normally you do is we take the right path and discuss the problem with the concerned person, so that the things can be solved either way, our benefit or either. But the botheration will not be there. Conflicting thoughts will not be continued. Otherwise, what will happen? It will keep coming. So that's why the quality of our life is influenced by the quality of our thoughts. So how do we manage with our mind to deal with others outside the world? Entirely depends on how the quality of our thoughts, how we plan to do that. So this is what I am talking about, mind management. So it is important that we learn how to manage our mind. So I can give you some points, like the 6 points with the management techniques. But it's a one-day course. Normally I do that, but since this is only a brief talk for a BYST, I do this. So just only some points only I can give here. The first is, number one, you become aware of our wavering mind. Once you know how to manage your mind, you become aware of our wavering mind. See, our mind really, goes here and there and all, whether we can do this or that, this is right or this is wrong, he is good or this is bad, all these thoughts. So then, you can switch off and on our desires. So, once you start managing your mind, it's very easy for us to, okay, this is right, okay, this is wrong. So you can switch off your mind, you can switch on. So something like that, we can develop into that level. Then the second is, you can stand on the balcony of your mind and witness the procession of thoughts passing by. Literally, you can observe your thoughts passing by. How your thoughts coming up, popping up, like tack, tack, tack. So you can really witness quietly, you can really watch without disturbing your, bringing your other thoughts. In other words, you can be aware of your own thoughts. That's what I'm trying to say. And third is, your mind will not be controlled by outside influence, but it will be engaged by your own mind in the right path. So the trained mind cannot be controlled by outside influence. Normally, we hear a lot of stories, a lot of news that oh no, he is totally controlled by that fellow or that particular group and all that. So no one can control our mind, because our mind is ours. So we have the right, we have the choice to do whatever we want, whether it's right or wrong, whatever, it's up to us. Others cannot help us. But only thing is we can take advice, we can take examples, we can see someone's example. But the deciding factor is within us. Then the fourth one is our life is a part of emotional feelings. See, just to think about, I want you people to think about without emotions and sensations, it's very, very difficult to prolong our life. So it is part and parcel. Emotion is part and parcel of our life. It has to be there. Emotion comes and goes. But how you're dealing with emotions is very, very important. So using the emotions in the right time, appropriate time is very, very important. So the trained mind easily can handle that. Many people, use that emotions in the wrong places. Like, when they get angry and all that, they bust out, emotional outburst. So it is not at all required. So these are the areas, with the mind management we can check out. Then the fifth one is visualization. Before we start any action or any activities, we have to mentally prepare ourselves. Visually, we have to go through the task, whatever we plan to do, the goal setting or any plan or even day-to-day life as any programs or anything, we have to go through it mentally first. So exactly like a sports people do, like, the cricket players, mentally how he feels like, especially Indian cricketers in England when they play, they can really, probably most of the cricketers being trained to mentally go through the ball by ball, which ball pitched in which area, and the swing and the spin and all, how they can handle mentally, they go through that. So that really helped. So similar to the sports people, we can apply this principle into our activities also. Then the sixth one is we can achieve our goals and change our life to make friends with our mind. Friends with our mind means no conflicting thoughts, no confusion in our mind. See, when we set up our goal, like to do this, to do that, to achieve this, all these things, in between, lots of youngsters, when I conduct classes on goal setting and all that, many people do, sir, I'm getting confused, sir. For the past 2 years, I was thinking of doing one particular area, but now I'm confused because the economy is bad, because that is bad, my parents are against it. All these conflicting thoughts, the trained mind will not take it as a negative at all, negative aspect at all. So you have to take it and see which is best for you, and the mind will very beautifully choose the right path according to our plan. So these are the 6 points I thought it's very vital. And the question is, how do we practice mind management? So far, I have said all these important points, but how do we practice it? Just start observing our mind. Of course, we all do that, but the intensity of that observing our mind is not there, because see, we have been carried away by the day-to-day activities, the monotonous way of life and all that. So of course, many people we do meditation, this, that, and all the different things are fine, but we got into that habituation, the pattern, the way of life, like I said in the beginning, the pattern. So it's very, very difficult, but we can do that. We can change that. And the moment when you start thinking about, the moment when you start observing your thought process, you know where you are standing. You see that present moment. That's what the mind management is all about. Then it's the first step towards managing the mind. This is a starting point. Observing our own thoughts is the first step towards mind management. So, actually, our mind is really designed in the internal, to see that internal reality. Then automatically it comes the reality of whether it is work for us, whether it is good for us to do or go further or whatever, all these things, we can really see that. Otherwise, once we carried on all these activities with the patterned way, then, we will go on. Then the years will pass by, then we'll reach a particular stage, then we will regret later. Then becoming aware of our own thoughts is so important, because the thoughts we think influence the words we speak. So most of people, you would have noticed, when they are really angry, frustrated, so the words will not come. The right words will not come. Only trained mind people only can really deliver perfect words according to the situation. But many people get caught into that. So once you are frustrated, the words will not come. The thinking process will not happen in a proper way at all. So the key is we need to be aware of the distractions. All those distractions, we have to see how it is coming. Once we see all those things, then slowly it will go off. Then the focusing point where we planned to do certain things will stand. So this is the first step towards the self-awareness of understanding our mind. And next time when you are stressed or getting into conflicting thoughts, ask yourself, we have to ask, what's going on in my mind right now? Why am I feeling this way? This is the process, really help us. Then, we know where we are standing. Otherwise, we'll be carried away by that stressed or frustrated state of mind. So this can help us to figure out why we are feeling that way and what we are feeling, and then it will make us to understand the root cause of the feelings, the frustration, the stress, and the anger, or all that. We have to address to the where it is coming from. Then we can really handle it. Nothing is that we can't handle, because everything is we can handle, unless if it is outside of the natural phenomena. Then how do I stay away from getting anger through mind management? So this is also very important. The anger is the area. Whoever I talked with in my training programs, I always found out one thing, that they get frustrations and anger and all that. That really pull them down. So especially youngsters. Sir, my father is not allowing me to do this. He's against me. I don't get help from my family. I don't get help from any. All this kind of all these things. Who is talking? We are talking. The mind is talking. So if you allow that anger, where it is coming from. Suppose the family is troubling you. So the family people is troubling you. So understand why they are troubling you, and see that where that you can avoid that, where you can solve that problem. So instead, getting anger yourself and telling everybody will not help at all. So that is why what is anger? We have to see why the anger is coming from. So it is part of our life. Of course, you can't stop the anger. It is part and parcel of our life. But you should not let the anger spoil our life. So that is the main point I would like to drive here. So mainly outside influences, we are getting that anger. Then it's a reality. Then we start slowly, once you know where the anger is coming from and all that, then you know the reality. Okay, so my side is also a problem. So I am wrong. I'm very wrong in using that words. I'm wrong in handling that situation. So that's why there is frustration, and that's why the people didn't like it. So people showed the anger towards you, and you become angry because of that. So the reality will come into your mind. So once you get into that reality, then it is easy for you to handle it. In 5 minutes time, I will tell you one story about anger management. There is one man. So instead of giving you the details of the technical points and all that, the story might help you to understand the anger management. See, there is one man, the very high top corporate executive. He is very, very successful man. He reached to the very top level in a very young age, around 35, 36 years itself, reached in a very top level in one corporate, and very hard worker. And, he's very, very good at his technical point, and he is a practical worker. But at the same time, he gets anger very fast. And he's having this, I'm the great, I'm very good, and I'm very, compared to others, I am the one, and all got into his head. So he gets anger very fast. So then slowly, after some time, he started losing his friends and started uh, getting into a problem with these companies and all that because of his outburst, anger, sudden anger. So his wife also saw that, and they discussed what to do and all that with the wife's father, who knows one Guruji, not Swamiji, and Guruji or something. That man, solve problem through mentally. So they approached him, and that man, gave him 6 goalies, marbles, 6 marbles. In fact, that Guruji asked that our hero, how many times you get angry in a day? The man said, around 6 to 7 times a day, Guruji. So he picked up a marbles and gave it to him, and he said, please listen very carefully with me. Take this 6 marbles and put it in your right pocket, and go to wherever place, like your business or your office or any important place where you're going to deal with people. And the moment when you get angry,
आपको क्या पता है गांव में कितनी प्रॉब्लम्स चलती हैं और किस कैसी बीमारियां हो जाती हैं बाद में लोग जो ही मर जाते हैं कम से कम शहरों में लोगों का इलाज हो जाता है तो पता चल जाता है.
Okay, when you get angry, the moment when you get angry, put your hands in your pocket and take one marble and exchange it in your other pocket. So like that, you do whenever you get angry, just put it in your pocket, take one marble and exchange it in your other pocket. So if you do that, whenever you get angry, very soon your problem will be solved. So that man started using it, and initially he was really struggling to do it. It's not possible, at the time of anger, put the fingers in your pocket and take one difficult. Then slowly he realized and started doing it. Then, changed. People started getting the things of changed in him. And what he himself started seeing the differences. The moment when he, when he gets anger, frustration, the moment